And welcome to X's and Row. I'm your boy Row, contributor for State of the U and OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys. Remember, X's and Row is the series that takes your questions online and answers them to the best of our ability. Hey, before we get going, nice new hat. I got this one especially from Caneswear. Special shout out to Brett. Had a wonderful conversation with you recently. But guys, head down to the Miami Mecca for merchandise. They'll hook you up. Now let's go over to Twitter. Thomas Manfredi at Thomas Manfredi. Can you break down the success we've had running to the outside versus running in the middle for 2.3 yards? And thank you for the great question. Let's roll the tape. Now, sometimes when you run the inside, it's going to have some success. So here you go. Early on in the game, offensive line does a pretty good job here. You know, some doubles at the point of attack. Now, pay attention. We're running towards the left side because later on we're going to talk about the right side. Now we're going to go ahead, bounce this. Good vision by Cam Harris here. This is going to go ahead and net the offensive coordinator a score. Now, here's an example of an inside run getting blown up and why. Right side of the line, this is going to be a late walk-up look by App State. Give them credit here. Now, when you have two guys kind of shooting out in the middle, and this play was designed perfectly to blow up this, inside zone with this quarterback read option off of it. I mean, there's nowhere for De'Ara King to go here. So this is going to put you back behind the sticks. 1st and 10 when your tendency is to run this play. This is a good job here. Clemson, by the way, did this last year, now that I think about this. And now you come over here. Now you're going to run towards the outside. You are going to have some success here. But at the same time, pay attention to the right side of the line. Right side of the line is going to go ahead, push in. There's a lot of flow to this traffic that was basically unabated. They had direct access to Cam Harris, who goes ahead and bounces this and nets a positive first down. But once again, right side of the line really blocking air on that. Garen Justice had some choice words for that line, so you don't have to take my words about it. He basically called out the right side of the line and said they needed to block it better. And after watching those examples of film, I would agree. Tactic Lives are the new live links. That might be the longest Twitter name I've had to say on here. At My Navy is Black, can you please, big capital letters, break down the protection bust on the King sack near the end of the first half? Only 2 down linemen on a lone blitzing safety wreaked havoc against 6 into block for King. When you're that emphatic about a question, I see a lot of caps. I got you, my man. I got exactly the play you were looking at. Now, it's not going to come from the safety. It's going to come from the Mike linebacker, but let's look at it in parts. First, I'm going to talk about the offensive line protection or lack thereof, and then I'm going to talk to you as a former quarterback what I'm seeing as far as the back end. So in terms of the offensive line protection, right here, they're going to show 3 down linemen. They're all going to go ahead and vacate. They're going to buzz into the flat. You're going to have an attachment here to the number 2. It's the Mike linebacker who comes in late, and watch what he does. Now, Corey Gaynor is a little late there. He's trying to pass it off, and it's the running back who's in prime position here. Cam Harris does a great job, an attempt at stopping this Mike Blitz linebacker. But here's my issue. Have we not seen this style of blitz before? Why is only 3 people getting home, and why do I have 2 offensive linemen in this frame looking for work? So I got 2 larger individuals allowing the 1 smaller individual try to take a Mike linebacker who's a head full of steam. In this case, great try, doesn't get it done, and next you know that's going to be a sack. So that's the sack you're talking about. Now, the quarters coverage from the quarterback, all right? So here was the route combo in case you were curious. It was a Z-out smash concept to the top side. So I got a corner, and then I got an out, a little simple stop, and a dig route. But let's look at the dig route because this is what De'Ara King was trying to find. Here's the dig route. That was one of the linebackers who dropped back in coverage. So this is covered, and that smash against quarters 4, listen, no offense, OC, you got to get me a little bit better play call than that on 3rd and 10. Just saying. Mr. Ladarius R. Benson on Twitter at 334LRB with a great question. Why are teams picking up our blitzes so well? Are they not disguised good enough, or are they just playing exceptionally on the offensive line? Let's go back to week 1, Alabama, the master class. Are they playing well? It's Alabama. They have exceptional talent. They got a guy like Evan Neal at the left tackle who's going to go in the first round. But look at the little things that they're doing. I got a couple blitzes dialed up for you. Miami's got an issue with pressure. They've only got 2 sacks to their credit on the year, so that's got to uptick quickly. So 2nd and 10, Nick Saban said something I always found interesting. This was years ago. He said, if you notice the little things on film, it's going to tell you a lot. And what I think Alabama maybe picked up on was your leaning principle. Right here, this is where the blitz is coming from. They're going to lean into the line of scrimmage late and watch the H-back right here. Wham! Takes him out. This blitz was never going to get home. They had plenty to block it. And then you're going to go ahead. Now, somebody took the play fake inside. That's a staple and unfortunately hallmark of a Manny Diaz team. They bite on a lot of play fakes, misdirections. So this was well designed. They get into the flat. This is easy pitch and catch. So that's blitz number 1. Now here comes blitz number 2. It's well designed. Look, it's going to come from the field side deep over here. But when you're in this down, you know somebody has a calling card of being a blitz-heavy DC. You're well prepared for it, and I like the little things that Alabama employ. Right here, he's immediately looking the halfback. He knows his responsibility. And when you're trying to throw at the top of the screen, here's the little things that matter. You're running a go route here, and you're running an out. Well, the slot wide receiver takes an inside stem and basically double moves this to create the separation to go ahead and ensure this play's efficacy. The other thing is, too, I have a quarterback that's throwing in this direction. All of a sudden, what's he going to do? The running back's going to take him down because he's making sure I can't get that ball blocked. That's making sure every minute detail is taken care of. Blitz didn't really have a chance. They knew it was coming from that direction. They were well prepared. And that just goes to show you how much better coached one side was. The last 2 questions on Twitter are coming in from Susie Canes at One Miami Hurricane and Michael Slee at Birdstown Slee. Why do we suck? That's from Susie. And what is the realistic ceiling for this Miami team? Well, these questions are requiring me to put down my X's and O pen and put on my editorial hat. The perception is the reality. And the reality is, the past 4 games, the University of Miami Hurricanes are not a good football team. Go back to the North Carolina loss, a debilitating loss where you gave up the most amount of yards in program history. You followed that up with a bowl loss. You haven't won many bowls in recent memory. Then, with renewed optimism and hope, and people just wanted to play Alabama close, you were outmanned, you were outclassed, you were outcoached, and you were outgunned. Then you have the opportunity at home to play against a non-P5 team, mind you, a very good one. No taking away anything from App State, who's been a pain and a thorn to a lot of P5 programs' side. But it came down to the right foot of a kicker, a freshman one at that. Not only did you have a cat hanging for its life off the stands, I have a feeling if the University of Miami Hurricanes lost that game, if a Borgala's kick goes wide right or wide left, there is a hint in possibility that the University of Miami Hurricanes were going to look for a new coach. Some rumblings might have already started. Now the national reality, the national perception, you heard for people already championing for another head coach. Yes, you had Rivals Mike say that Mario Cristobal should be the head coach for the University of Miami Hurricanes. And other national talking heads echoed that sentiment. And at that case, that's the reality. After so many years in the program, Manny Diaz now going into his 3rd year, but being involved with this program for many more as a defensive coordinator, the perception is starting to meet the reality. And the perception that this team can't get over the hump is starting to become more reality. So what is the realistic ceiling for this Miami team? Mike, at the beginning of the year, I predicted that this team is going to go 8-4. When I predicted that, I got a lot of backlash. Now, after watching 2 weeks of film, I'm going to double down on that and say the ceiling is still going to be 8-4. Unless the Miami offense gets out of this rut and pushes the precipice of creativity, learns to block it properly, learns to make the routine catches, it's going to struggle. In these 2 weeks' time, you were hoping for a 40 points per game offense. You're half that right now. You're the lowest team in rush yards in the ACC. You put an emphasis on rushing the ball better, but you haven't done it. So when you have that monumental hill to climb and you put an emphasis at doing it, for me, that's just a tough pill to swallow. It's a very tough pill to swallow for a lot of Miami Hurricanes fans. Now, the reality. And I don't think this is perceived. Chris Fowler said this today, and I can't disagree with him. The expectations for most Miami fans competing for national championships right now is probably a little overblown. University of Miami still needs to take essential steps. They still have some personnel issues on this team. There's teams, when you're looking at a team like Alabama or Clemson, that starters on this team would not be starting for their team. So it's not just about the X's and O's, but some of the Joes can improve as well. You had questions about linebacking play coming into this, and when you didn't go ahead and address those needs, why is anybody surprised that we don't have a linebacker in the top 50 in ACC tackles? This is a program that had people like Michael Barrow, Morgan, people who would lead their respected, or at least top 3, top 5 at the University of Miami at the linebacker position in tackles. We can't get anybody in the top 50. So you're going to have to recruit it better. You're going to have to continue to stack those chips, and you're going to need more out of the coaching staff. And I'm going to be honest, it's getting a little old for me watching a lot of the mistakes that the University of Miami make, because it seems like very routine bonehead mistakes. I've seen guys uncovered on the goal line, and instead of throwing them the ball for an easy touchdown, you basically run into the teeth of a defense. I've seen offensive linemen routinely not know where to go with and who to block. I've seen wide receivers run wrong routes. I've heard of wide receivers not able to grasp the playbook. I've heard defensive people not being able to grasp the playbook. I've seen just last week 4 individuals take a pump fake and 2 people were wide open. It's okay when you see maybe one take the pump fake, but when you have the whole entire defense take the pump fake, the coaches need to take responsibility too. And you kind of heard hints of this week. Garen Justice was one of those. Because when Garen Justice sits there and talks about how the right side is not meshing well and he's got to take responsibility on that and they're just not getting it done and it's the way he's coaching, I appreciate it. I appreciate the optimism. But at a certain point, perception is reality. The Miami Hurricanes aren't good enough anymore to go ahead and line up with any kind of deficiencies. I'll say that again. This isn't the 2001 team, and it hasn't been since 2001. The days of being that much talent above the, who you're playing, it's no longer there. So you can't afford those type of mistakes. You can't give up a special teams touchdown to App State. You can't get a kick blocked by App State. You're not that good. You have to make sure all the little things are taken care of, because you don't have the talent to just line up and blow by people anymore. You have to coach it better. And I wish there was metrics that could go ahead and you could reference. There's a Twitter individual who takes every baseball umpire's game and gives it a grade because he has tangible evidence of a strike zone. I wish we had the same for offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, for their play calls going against the defenses, so people could understand it's not just about the players. It's a culmination of everything. And right now, my ceiling of 8-4 is because the coaches have underperformed. You still have some talent issues. You're not creating enough pressure. You're getting really thin at running back, especially with Chaney done for the year and Knighton still on suspension. Your linebacker play is still letting you down. You're about one cornerback away from being dangerously thin again, and I don't see this team surviving the ACC schedule unscathed. Hopefully they prove me wrong. It's been a pleasure, Canes fans. I'm your boy Ro, contributor for State of the U and OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys.